You're listening to TGI Sports Talk with your host, Keith Angle, on Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good morning, everybody. It's Keith Angle for TGI Sports Talk. I wasn't going to do a live show today because, as you know, I'll be going on live and co-hosting the Super Bowl preview show with Mac and Jack later on here, about an hour. But I hate not coming on. I won't see most of my regulars, I'm sure, this morning, but that's fine. I'm only going to do a quick show, maybe a half an hour. I want to cover some topics. The Super Bowl quickly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the Super Bowl during this broadcast because I'm going to be talking about it with others at about 8 o'clock for 3 hours. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the NFL inductions that were announced yesterday. We'll talk about the debacle with the Nets and the COVID and Kevin Durant situation Friday. A little bit of Knicks, a little bit of college basketball, and we'll talk about how the Nets dodged a bullet. So that's a lot to cover, and I'm not doing it in 2 hours. I'm doing it in a half an hour. Quick weather report because I know that at least I have one fan who likes that, which I think was a bit sarcastic, but that's okay. I don't think he does, but it's a beautiful day here in East Greenbush, New York, and we are the first live streaming webcast from East Greenbush, New York. It's a chilly night, a chilly morning. Excuse me. We are going back into double digits here. A little bit of snow today, and then maybe a snowstorm on Tuesday again. Another 8 inches maybe. So it's been kind of a real winter here. Anyway, welcome to anybody who does get up early and watch this live. Hopefully you'll watch it. I'll share it later on. I probably won't have time to share it until this afternoon, but most of the topics will hold up for a few days anyway. Big story today, of course, Super Bowl Sunday. An iconic matchup of quarterbacks, the legendary Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time in my mind and many people's mind. Regardless of the vlog I did the other night about the Brady-Belichick ridiculous conversation, which I will not get in here to now, but please watch that vlog and you'll get my opinion. Nobody loves Tom Brady more than I do. And he's playing against the person who, if anybody on the horizon has a chance to chase down have any kind of dynasty like the Patriots had the last 20 years, it could be the Kansas City Chiefs if they find a way to keep this team together. Patrick Mahomes is amazing. This isn't Patrick Mahomes against Tom Brady. They're not playing against each other. It's a matter of the defenses and how each one is able to stop the other. Who can run the ball a little bit better? Lots of, and again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here dissecting this game because we're going to do it for 3 hours coming up here at 8 o'clock. But I don't know. I guess I'll give you my prediction when I'm done with this. This is a Super Bowl that we deserve this year. It's been a tough season. It's amazing to me that the NFL was able to navigate the COVID situation. Obviously, they had some weeks where we played games every night of the week. But they didn't have any games canceled. They didn't postpone weeks. We saw that the havoc that ran through college football with postponements and some teams playing 6 games and some teams playing 12 games and caused some problems at the end of the season and picking the playoff participants and things like that. You're seeing it now with college basketball. We're seeing it in the NBA. We'll talk about it a little bit coming up. We're seeing it in the AHL. But the NFL did a pretty good job, I think, of navigating the season. I thought the Super Bowl was going to get played in March when the season started, to be honest with you, if they got through the season at all. There were a couple of minor COVID situations with the Chiefs. I'm not sure right now. I've got to catch up on that before the show at 8 o'clock. I don't think they're going to impact the game. The players had were caught up in the tracing, so they had been in contact with somebody who may or may not have tested positive. But I think they only had to test positive enough to. I think they had plenty of time to test positive enough times to play today. So I don't think it's a big deal. There is kind of a sideline story with Andy Reid and his son, who is a coach on the team, being involved in a very tragic car accident the other night. Not sure how that's going to impact things emotionally. But, teams have a way of putting those things aside. Not that they're not important. I mean, these are the things that are important in life. But again, this is a Super Bowl we deserve. The players deserve. They put themselves at risk. Yes, for lots of money. But sports is important in this country, as I've said many, many times. And this Super Bowl is important to us right now. It needs to come off without a hitch. 22,000 plus fans in the stadium today. 7,500 of those will be healthcare workers treated to the game by the NFL. I brought that up. I don't think for a minute they were listening to my broadcast 2 months ago when I thought there'd be no fans in the stadium, and decided to treat the healthcare workers. When I said, if we have a vaccine and the healthcare workers are vaccinated, fill the stadium and don't charge them a nickel. So anyway, I think it's a great gesture on the NFL's part. I do not think they heard it from me. But I will also say that my team, the New England Patriots, are sending, I think, 76 healthcare workers to Tampa. I believe they were leaving today. All expenses paid. They flew them on the Patriots team plane. They'll be at the game. Not sure if they're staying the night or flying home. For safety concerns, they may just fly them back home. But I think it's a great gesture by the Patriots as well. And there could be other teams doing it, in all fairness. I know about the Patriots doing it. That's all. The game itself, again, we're going to go more into depth in this at 8 o'clock, so I'm not going to spend only a couple of minutes here. Tom Brady, 6 Super Bowl rings, going for his 7th. It's hard for me to root against him, but I've done it the last 2 weeks. The game is a 3-point spread for Kansas City's the favorite. I believe the over-under is 56. Patrick Mahomes, while not the greatest quarterback of all time, certainly, that is Tom Brady. As far as winning, talent-wise, Patrick Mahomes can do things that Tom Brady could never do. We're going to his left, throwing the ball right, avoiding pass rushers. Tom's basically a sitting duck these days. He'll fool me with some kind of trick play where he catches a pass for 40 yards like he did against the Eagles, who actually turned the tables on them. But listen, this is a tremendous matchup, and we should enjoy every second of it. If you're a Tom Brady hater, you're going to go out there and root against him not to win because you've got Tom Brady fatigue. I understand. I get it. But stop knocking the guy. He's a great competitor. The things that you don't like about him, the things you think are he's whining on the sidelines, that's not Tom Brady. Tom Brady is just a tremendous competitor. And with all that said, hang on, I guess I got a second, guys. I don't see who might have commented here. John Doviak. Good morning, John Doviak. I'm up early. I'm always up early, John. I don't sleep these days. I'm a 5 a.m. riser. I should be a hunter, I guess, if I'm up at 5 a.m., right? Anyway, I decided to do my show live for a few minutes, at least maybe a half an hour or so, as I mentioned at the top, as I'll be on live with Mac and Jack at 8 o'clock for the 3-hour Super Bowl pregame show. Back to Tom Brady and the Patrick Mahomes. Guys, I love Tom Brady, as I just mentioned. He's everything that's right about sports. A lot of people hate him. They got Brady fatigue. Some Patriots fans hate him because he's a traitor. I don't think he's a traitor. He gave us 20 great years. Probably could have made more money. Not that he didn't make a lot of money. Probably could have made a lot more money if he decided he just wanted money. Tom Brady wanted to win. What I said the other night about Aaron Jones. I do this all the time. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron, if you want to win, give some of your money back. Let the team build around you. Anyway, today, Patrick Mahomes will outduel Tom Brady. I think it's going to be a shootout. I'm looking at the score to be about 38-34, so I'm going to pick with the points Kansas City. Third week in a row against my boy Tom Brady. My buddy Mark tells me I'm nuts. He's riding the Tampa Bay and the TB12 train all the way to the Super Bowl on a bunch of pools. God bless you, Mark. I love Tom, but I've thought he was not on the better team the last 3 weeks, including today. Tampa Bay has tons of weapons. Kansas City matches them player for player. Tampa Bay's defense has played very well. But as well as they played, Brady made some mistakes last week 2 weeks ago against Green Bay. Green Bay really could have won that game. Maybe they should have won that game. Some weird coaching decisions, horrible pass coverage at the last play before the half. Questionable play calling at the end of the game. Aaron Rodgers not looking to his right when he might have walked into the end zone for the potentially tight game-tying touchdown. All that said, great weapons on both sides. Kansas City defense better than you give him credit for. Steve Spagnuolo with a history of being able to slow down Tom Brady. He ruined an undefeated season for us back in 2007. Guys, Kansas City, 38-34. Bet the Chiefs, bet the over. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. Want to move on? Again, watch. I'm going to broadcast live. The Mac and Jack show will be. I think I'll start a watch party. Is how we'll do it. I don't know if I'll be able to see your comments. Feel free to comment, and I'll try to look back at the. Because when you share it, it doesn't come up on the show that you're actually on. I tested this during the week. So share your comments on the TGI Sports Talk feed, and I'll try to peek at them if it isn't screwing up my feed at all. Sometimes you have too many streams going, it affects the broadcast. But we'll talk. We'll put your comments in there. Follow it. Rick Sherlock, Bill Pulver, John. If you're around, I hope you'll maybe tune in for. Maybe I'm sure you can't tune in for 3 hours. If you can, great. Not everybody's got nothing to do for 3 hours like me, I guess. Anyway, let's move on. Before I move on from the Hall of Fame, from the NFL, let's talk about last night's Hall of Fame inductees. The 2021 inductees, by the way, the ceremonies this year, if they happen, are going to be about 12 hours long because, you've got about 6 or 7 guys from last year that got in. Plus you got another, 7 or 8 here today. But I want to congratulate all deserving candidates. Charles Woodson, cornerback, safety, played with the Raiders, played with the Packers. Made him play with some other teams. But he played 17 years in the league. Calvin Johnson cut his own career short at the top. Great player. Alan Faneca, guard. Steelers. I'm not sure. Sorry. John Lynch, obviously, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Big weekend for the Buccaneers, right? Played a lot of years as well. 14 years. Now he's running the San Francisco 49ers. And, of course, Peyton Manning. Peyton, who does not hold a tremendous place in my heart. I actually like Peyton better retired than I did when he played. I find his commercials with Brad Paisley very funny and entertaining. But Peyton Manning joins this class. Those are the modern era players. The coaches, Tom Flores, very underrated coach, won 2 Super Bowls with the Oakland/Los Angeles Raiders. Great choice. Tom Flores, very underrated. Never seek the limelight, but he's a great coach. Coached both the Raiders and the Seahawks. I think it's it's coming much too late. But congratulations to Tom Flores. Contributors, which means they weren't a coach or a player, is Bill Nunn, who was a Steelers couch and executive for 44 years. And in the seniors division, another, I think, great choice. Good morning, Dave Guyette. Sorry I told you there'd be no show this morning. I decided to do it 2 hours early before I go on live at 8 o'clock with the Super Bowl pregame show on the Mac and Jack Sports Show. Remember, you can watch it here in TGI Sports Talk. You can go to Northeast Streaming Sports and watch it as well. Put your comments up. We'll do the best to keep track of them. I'll mention it again at the end of the show. Senior division, Drew Pearson, Cowboy wide receiver for 10 years, undrafted. Was a quarterback in college at Tulsa. Great solution. I've been trying to get Drew on my show, and I will continue to do that, especially now that he's been inducted. I don't really have any. I don't think I have any connection to reach out to any of these except Drew Pearson at the present. But we'll keep trying. We'll try to get some of these guys on. Some notable guys who did not make it. Richard Seymour, Patriots and Raiders, great player. Deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He'll get there one day. Reggie Wayne. Sam Mills. Sam Mills tragically died of cancer after battling cancer during his NFL career. Played with the Panthers and the Saints after starting in the USFL. Great player. Torrey Holt. Not sure about Torrey Holt's candidacy, but we'll see. Tony Baselli, tackle for the Jaguars. I think he belongs in there. Eventually. And Jared Allen. Some of the notable guys who were finalists that got snubbed. Did I miss anybody? Clay Matthews Jr. Clay Matthews, the third's father. Clay Matthews played linebacker in the league for almost 20 years back in the 70s to 90s. And Zach Thomas. I'm not sure about Zach Thomas. Was an undersized linebacker for the Dolphins. Great player. But I'm not sure he's a Hall of Famer. Anyway, I think the NFL did a good job. You know, baseball does things a little differently. The NFL's got to have a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 9. Yeah, Rick Sherlock saying Jared Allen should have got in. Guys, I'm not going to go back and forth with you as much as I would have normally because I've got to get through the show today here in just another 20 minutes or so. But Rick, yes, welcome this morning. Hope you'll watch the show at 8 o'clock. It'll be live streamed on TGA Sports Talk as well. As I mentioned before, I'll try to keep track of the comments and bring them up. It's not going to be just me, so it's going to be hard to fit them in, but I'll do the best I can. And again, Jared Allen will get in, right? I don't think you can say of the modern era players, Jared Allen should get in before any of those guys and take them out. All great players. If I was going to have to pick one, you told me Jared Allen, you want him in, he's got to get in this year. Maybe I would have put him in before Charles Woodson. But regardless, the list is a good list. And Jared Allen will get in the Hall of Fame. And Jim Marshall deserves to be in too. That's another good pick. Maybe a little Minnesota biased there, Rick, but I cannot say that those are not two great players who should be in the Hall of Fame. But I'm not going to knock. I can't knock Drew Pearson's selection either. A Viking fan might be able to knock that Cowboy selection. I'm not sure, but I can't. So we're going to move on quickly from the NFL. Again, didn't spend a lot of time on the NFL because I've got 3 hours to talk about it coming up on the Mac and Jack Super Bowl extravaganza at 8 o'clock. And the NBA, guys, what a mess. What a mess with, I don't get it, man. The Nets and Kevin Durant and COVID Friday night. Dave is right. It's too bad the Super Bowl doesn't start earlier, by the way. Never going to happen again, Dave. Prime time, big dollars, advertising. If you haven't seen the Brady Gronk commercial, go to my personal Facebook page. It's awesome. Funniest thing I've seen in years. NBA, COVID, Nets, Kevin Durant. Guys, Friday night, Kevin Durant had come into contact with somebody who had an inconclusive test, COVID test. He'd taken a couple of car rides with him. Now, Kevin Durant's already had COVID. He has the antibodies. The NBA originally said he couldn't play. Then they put him in the game. This is against the Raptors Friday night. They put him in the game and then pulled him back out. What is the NBA doing? I mean, he should have either been cleared to play and played a game, let him play. And again, I'm all for safety. I don't know what, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I know that shocks a lot of you, but I'm not. Guess I pretend to be. But if he's had the COVID, he's got the antibodies. We don't know for a fact he can't get sick again. I get that. So cancel the game, postpone the game. Now he's out for 3 more games, including they had another game Saturday night against the Sixers and got smacked. So now 2 losses in a row for the NBA. Just a bad look for the NBA. You say a guy can't play, and I'm okay. Everybody's had players miss games. I don't say you have to postpone games because your star player's not playing. Had a problem with the college football season the same way. There was no equity in the way they decided to postpone games or make teams play shorthanded. The NBA's got to figure something out here. So's the NHL. You're either going to postpone games or you're going to play shorthanded. Rick, nice to see John this morning, right? I guess I got to start the show at 7 a.m. to get John in. He just got back from hunting. I don't know what he killed today. I hope he's still here. Maybe he can tell us. Maybe we're not in any kind of hunting season. We probably aren't. Anyway, look, there's got to be some more equity or equality in the way they do these things. Either teams have to postpone or they have to play shorthanded. Or, X amount of players have to be missing for you to postpone a game. You got to have some competitive advantage, right? Don't tell me about your problems, Rick. Lifelong friend with John Doviak. Just kidding. A lot of Perthites join the show. We know that. We love you guys here. John, make up your own hunting season. John says there is no hunting today, so I think you make up your own hunting season. Go hunt for, I don't know. Go hunt for Brady haters. I'd like to see the taxidermy done on them. Oh gosh, now. The show's gone off the rails now. I got myself hiring a hitman to track down Brady haters. Just kidding, John. I made the rest of your accessories as well, so I apologize, guys. That's it on the Nets. Let's get a little more, just a little more conformity in what we do. Knicks, 2 in a row again. I'm telling you something, guys. The backcourt is playing great basketball. Damian Lillard is one of the best point guards in basketball. He was outplayed again. Not again for him. I've heard about the Knicks backcourt woes for a while, and they do have some. They're inconsistent. But Eddie Payton played another great game. 22 points, 4 assists. Shot the ball well. Barrett shot the ball well, scored 18. Julius Randle, just a normal night for him. 22 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. The guy's going to be an all-star. He has to be an all-star. Yeah, I will end up in Facebook jail, won't I? Good point, John. To be clear, I am not hiring anybody to assassinate anybody. All a joke. If I'm not on for a couple of days, you'll know why. Oh, gosh. No. It's all a joke. It's all a joke. I'm not making political comments, so I guess I'll probably be safe. So anyway, another great night for the Knicks. Burks played great off the bench again, 16 points. Quickly, who I love. Little inconsistent, but man, he is going to be a great player. He's got John Calipari saying we. Who else contributed? Bullock, 10 points. Just a great win for the Knicks, I think. Again, up and down, they're probably right where we should be. Just got my link for the live show at 8 o'clock. What time is it? 7:29. Kind of wrap this up in 10 minutes or so. Real quick, let's move on to the college basketball scene. Michigan had to extend their pause, their COVID pause, unfortunately. They're ranked fourth in the country. Who knows how this is going to affect their season? But a lot of teams are going through it. Florida's postponed 2 games. Baylor, number 2 in the country, they're postponing 2 games. Louisville in the top 25, postponing 2 games. So COVID continues to wreak havoc. I had a vlog a week ago about this topic and about how and it still may happen, I guess, because I think it's being discussed more. Maybe they watch my show just like John Goodell. John Goodell. Man, what is going on? Where's my Prevagen, Rick? Somebody was going to send me Prevagen about a month ago. I never got it. Roger Goodell. I don't think he watched my show and decided to send the healthcare workers for free, but I hope he paid some attention to me. Maybe the NCAA is paying attention to me. They're now considering no conference tournament games. I love the conference tournaments, but it's too risky. It's too risky, especially with the possibility of teams opting out. Top teams, let's just say Baylor opted out and Gonzaga opted out. Well, now they very well would have won their conference tournaments. You got 2 other at-large bids that have to go to Gonzaga and Baylor. Not for that. Don't play the tournaments. Stay safe. Keep the teams more secluded until they go to Indiana. The regular season champions get the automatic bids. That's the way it should be. Look at you've already got some weird stuff going on. Duke's not making the tournament, most likely. Kentucky's not making a tournament. Syracuse is or isn't on the bubble. Who else is kind of... I did have myself a little... here we are. So I was looking at... I was actually looking at Joe Lunardi's bracket watch today. Probably Alabama, for the first time ever, could be looking at a number 1 seed if they continue what they're doing. They're playing amazing basketball. The story there is amazing. Not a basketball school. They play okay in football, right? Gonzaga and Baylor will fight it out for the overall number 1, most likely. And then Michigan is the 3rd or the 4th number 1 right now. And what happens with their season when they resume, who knows? Villanova took himself off that line with a bad loss to St. John's, a red-hot St. John's team, by the way. They've got themselves in a conversation. 2 weeks ago, they probably weren't looking at the NIT. Now they've probably moved up onto a bubble. Some of the bracketology reports I see have them in the tournament, and others don't. But I think the last couple of games, they had the upset. Well, they've won 7 in a row now, I think. 6 in a row. They had the upset against Villanova, who was 3 in the country at the time. Great win. They battled against Providence last night and won. And they're playing great defense. Man, that team comes out and Mike Anderson has them playing 40 minutes of hell, just like his mentor Nolan Richardson had Arkansas doing. They start defending you off the bus, man. I like St. John's a lot. Did coming into the season. I've been following him a lot more too because on my weekly appearances on the Mac and Jack show, we talk. Now football's coming to an end. My main topics are the Knicks, St. John's, Syracuse, and whatnot. So happy to see that happening. Rick's asking where the pulverizer is this morning. I'm thinking it's a bit early for Billy. I did make an announcement I wasn't going to have a show this morning, so I apologize to you guys. I decided this morning at 5 a.m. that, I was doing my promo for next Friday's show. Doug DeCince, by the way, will be my guest on Friday, live at 8 a.m., former all-star third baseman for the Orioles and the Angels. But I decided to do the show because I just Jones, man. I like being here. I like bantering with you guys. So I won't have an opportunity. I'm going to try to do some of that bantering. It's going to be a little different during the Super Bowl pregame show. So as I said, watch the live stream, post your comments. I don't know. I've got to keep a window open for Facebook where I'm sharing it on my TGI Sports Talk page. The comments won't come up in the live show on Mac and Jack, I don't think. I've tested it and it hasn't worked. So I'll try to keep my eye on it. We'll try to address some of the comments that come up. But make your comments, guys. Even if I can't respond, put your comments in. I hope you'll watch. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got people in Tampa. Jamie Paggs, the Philly sports guys in Tampa. I'm going to try to get some remote interviews. Byron Williams, who was a regular on the Mac and Jack show covering the NFL, former Giant and Viking wide receiver. Phillies. I think he played with Philly. Byron. Did Byron play with I don't have my little card. I don't think he played with the Vikings. I think I misspoke, Rick. You would probably know better than I would. But I think Byron played with the Giants and Eagles. Anyway, back to wrap up the NCAA because I want to talk about the Mets real quick. I find it interesting. We talked about this on the Mac and Jack show Friday. The Big East and college basketball in general has made a huge mistake, I think, in realigning their leagues because of the football. The whole mess with the football teams and teams leaving long-time associations with leagues. Nebraska from the Big Ten, the Big 12. I'm sorry, the Pac. Boy, where were they? Boy, maybe I shouldn't do a show at 7 a.m. The Big 12 going to the Big 10. Texas A&M going to the Big East. I mean, the Southwestern Conference fell apart. Texas went to the Big 12. TCU went to the Big 12. Arkansas had gone to the SEC a few years before. Big East lost Miami. The Big East lost Syracuse. The Big East lost Florida State. No, they didn't play. They did play in the Big East for a while. Yes, Florida State. Sorry. Pittsburgh went out of the Big East. So, again, because of the football aspect of this, the basketball teams followed suit and looked for new homes. And I'll tell you what, the Big East isn't what it was, but the schools that stuck it out, God bless them. UConn left and came back. But the teams that left, Syracuse, Pittsburgh, Notre Dame, short affiliation with the Big East, relatively speaking. Boston College, Florida State. These teams are struggling. Well, Florida State's doing well. Syracuse is not what it was. A lot of problems there, and the recruiting's a big part of it. So I think they made a huge mistake in doing these. We just went live on Northeastern Streaming Sports, I see, by the way. Thanks, Linda. Big mistake. Recruiting-wise, it's tough. Syracuse's deal, I mean, Boeheim's getting older, slowing down. The talent is just not there that was in the past. And it's recruiting. They missed Mike Hopkins, as I mentioned. He was his chief recruiter. He was promised a job when Boeheim retires, but apparently Jim's going to coach until he dies. I don't know. So Hopkins left to go to Washington. That's hurt them. The proliferation of television leagues having their own networks. Big East was the first that I can think of that had their own sports network. That's what turned the Big East into a beast. And then with the proliferation of television networks and coverage in itself, every game's on, it seems, every night. And then the conference, the Big East Conference, the football teams, carpetbagging south to the ACC mostly, left them hanging. They felt they had to make a decision. I think they would have been better off sticking it out in the Big East. You got a lot of rivalries, longtime rivalries that fell apart. So anyway, that's that. Let me talk about the Mets real quick before we wrap up the show. It's getting to be close to 20 minutes to 8. I got to get another get another coffee, get in the room for the game, for the pregame show. I want to talk about the Mets real quick, and the Mets fans who were upset about Trevor Bauer not signing with the Mets and kind of leading them on and going to the Dodgers, 3 years, $105 million, I think. Lots of money for Trevor Bauer. Met fans, you dodged a bullet. This guy's a great pitcher. Won the Cy Young Award last year. But Trevor Bauer is a loose cannon. He can ruin the atmosphere and the chemistry of any clubhouse. I mean, just a couple of his transgressions. He cut his finger on a drone in a bullpen before he's supposed to start Game 2 of the ALCS in 2016 against the Blue Jays. Really? Very mature. How much are they paying you to start Game 2 of the ALCS, Trevor? In 2019, Trevor was not pitching that well. Terry Francona came to take him out of the game. Most pitchers hand the ball to the manager, not Trevor. Trevor takes it and tosses it over the center field wall and stomps off the mound. Very mature, Trevor. And then most recently, I think also in 2019, a college student, female college student, tweeted out that Trevor Bauer was her least favorite athlete in all of sports. And Trevor unleashed a barrage of harassing texts to this one, or tweets to this girl, that he should be ashamed of. And the Mets' recent history, again, look at what they've done recently. You had Steve Phillips years ago with his issues, right? You had, they hired Carlos Beltran, who never managed a game because of the sign stealing debacle. You had them just fire their GM that they hired. I don't know who did the background check on him, but he was caught up in a texting and sexual harassment situation. How does that not come to light? You couldn't bring a guy like Trevor Bauer in here to New York to pitch. Just couldn't do it. So Met fans, those of you who are so upset this morning that Trevor's not going to be on your team, count yourself lucky. Because whatever he can bring to you on the field, he's not worth it off the field. I guarantee you. Watching this guy from afar, I apologize. Don't bring guys like this into your clubhouse. Mets, Yankees, anybody in sports. Just don't do it. The talent's not worth it in a lot of cases. Sometimes it works out for short periods of time, but in the end, it always blows up in their faces. So, all right, guys, that's really all I got. I hope you will stay here. By the way, you don't have to stay here, but I hope you'll stick around, because in less than 20 minutes, we'll be going live. I'll be doing a watch party right here on TGI Sports Talk. I'll be going live with Mac and Jack, with Robert Butler from Sports Scope, and a host of others. We'll be co-hosting the show, but we're going to have all the Northeast streaming sports shows will be making an appearance today. We've got coverage in Tampa that we'll be trying to go to remotely. We'll see how that works out. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Something different for us, but things are going really well. TGI Sports Talk, rising with a bullet. Lots of new followers the last 2 weeks. Northeast Streaming Sports, 3, maybe we got a month under our belt. Still got shows joining us. We got shows in the UK. We've got a network in the UK sharing all our shows. Up to 1,000 followers in less than a month. Thank you guys. Thanks for all of your support. Thanks to all the groups I'll share this to today. I didn't mention at the top, but you're not going to see it now, but if I'm sharing it to you, there's content for you. We'll see you in about 20 minutes. Well, 15 minutes. I got to grab a coffee quick. 15 minutes. I'll see you live. And on the Mac and Jack Sports Show for the Super Bowl Sunday pregame show, and Friday, Doug DeCince live right here, 8 o'clock. TGI Sports Talk. Keith Engel, out.